What are we drinking?
It's classics. Vodka
Ryan
soda.
actually made
Crown
mine
on the
today.
rocks, dude.
It was good catching up last night, though.
It was, dude, Johnny. You had some long hair in college. What?
Dude,
I didn't. I honestly did not remember that you had like. He had like a surfer flow.
Yeah.
Straight up surfer.
Dude, I really...
It went in
surfer
every
flow.
different direction you can think of. Possible.
Dude, it was
I
like
was like-
this way, that way,
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah.
I don't even remember I had that much
Like-
hair either till we saw those videos.
Yeah.
I don't even remember those videos.
You were all over those videos.
I was.
You were.
We used to grow our hair out for the season.
Yeah.
We all grew it out, what, 1 year?
You had long hair
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
I did. It was
You had really
1
long
year.
hair.
We went, I think it was sophomore, December sophomore year, all the way to December of junior year.
Yeah, that was about.
Did that season.
Yeah.
Because that video was junior year, like the fall. So it was at the peak
Yeah.
or near the end of the flow.
Yeah. About right.
I've showed that picture of my long hair at work, and they were like, what the hell?
Yeah, your long hair is
Same thing though. It was like there was like that surfer.
turns into an afro though. It's like
Yeah, you had
weird.
more
Yeah, it goes
afro.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like that, yeah.
That's why I always wore a hat backwards to try.
I had like luscious locks.
Yeah, you had some long hair too.
I had some. It went past my like shoulder line.
Yeah, you did for a while.
Kenny, you did
Yeah.
not. You did not.
No,
Yeah,
I
you
was
always
I always
stood-
had
stuck-
short hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay.
You
Well-
had long hair though freshman year.
Now what about us today?
Yeah, my flow is long gone.
Can we get a sneak peek? Come on, let's.
It's
Not
just so
coming back.
convenient. I'm wearing a hat.
Not coming back.
Dude, look at that comb over. That's beautiful.
Ooh, it looks nice.
Nah, that's good.
Sorry, I'm on the same page though. Trying to do
Yeah.
everything to keep that hair.
Listen, no
got the
paid
short
commercials here. We're still working on the product that's
That's
going to
true.
help me out.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once we land it,
Maybe I'll start like a trial and see how we progress throughout the rest of these podcasts.
I don't know, man.
they'll pay you for those trials.
Eh,
It's a little experiment.
I wonder if it's correlated to the amount of stress that you have in your life. Like even if you do those products, like if you don't reduce the stress, does it have an adverse effect?
I don't know. It definitely has to do with some stress for sure.
Yeah. I'm pretty. I mean, obviously the cause of it. I think there is some sort of science behind it or something.
Oh,
but,
for
you know,
sure.
stress definitely goes into hair loss.
Oh,
Dude,
yeah.
it's
It definitely
starting, like-
it accelerates gray hair, right? That's
sure.
that's for sure.
That's
The
something I
presidents.
have to-
Look at all the
yeah.
presidents.
Yeah.
And that job is extremely stressful.
Was it
Yeah.
the picture of Obama from when he started to when
Yeah.
he finished? You go,
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a crazy one.
Yeah,
That is a crazy
he had a
one.
dramatic change over the
Yeah.
4 years.
LeBron?
8 years.
LeBron does have.
Yeah.
LeBron.
Even 4 years.
I mean, his life is crazy, but I'm sure that type of stress is how crazy he is because he's such a everyone knows who he is.
Yeah.
He's worldwide. So
Could you
know,
imagine?
could be stressful.
Like you can't go anywhere without just paparazzi and all that.
That's a lot of celebrities. I mean, a lot
Yeah.
of celebrities, like, anybody that you've seen in those movies and stuff.
But everyone wants, you want to make that life, but then how it brings a lot of freaking stress. You can't go to the grocery store. You can't go to the gym without just a million people in your freaking face.
No.
I think the average Joe also has some stress too, though, right?
Absolutely, the average Joe.
Yeah, definitely.
Work.
Work for sure.
School. Even school. though.
School.
Like, if you look at that, like,
Sports.
the pressure starts as soon as it might even start in high school because the pressure is, it's always getting you to that next level. The pressure in high school is getting into college. The pressure in college is getting you out of
mean,
college with a degree and a job.
you can even go back to middle school too. That's when everyone's going through puberty. Like
Yeah.
that's stressful. No, but like
You're
you start,
not wrong, dude. I
you
just didn't
start
think you were
getting
going there.
you start getting interested in the opposite sex or interested in general in any sex, but
Interested.
interested. But anyways, yeah, like you're going through all those changes, your pimples and stuff.
See, I thought you were gonna go with like the FCAT, man. You went puberty. Was not expecting that. term.
Is the FCAT still around in Florida?
I don't know, but it was
look it up.
stressful when we had to do it.
Jersey have that?
No,
Standardized
yeah.
tests are just stressful.
There was something though.
Yeah.
I forget what
Yeah,
it was.
standardized tests.
There was a standardized
And
test we had to take.
It's kind of like different. Like you're so used to like elementary school at that point in time that you go into like now you're going into gym and you gotta like you have a
Yeah.
locker room now. That's different.
You got to decide you're gonna take a
Which
shower
is
or not.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean the amount of Axe body spray.
Oh my god, dude! Middle school locker room, totally with the
Yeah.
Axe spray.
They
But
can
it's totally-
that's their
yeah,
market.
it
That
is
is their
there. It
market.
is. Like,
Axe body spray for people in middle school.
I mean,
high school.
To shower
did
or
you-
not to shower should be their slogan.
did you guys use Axe body spray?
100%.
Of
Yeah,
course.
of course. Definitely.
That
100%.
mixed with like an Old Spice body.
Still to this day,
exactly what
Old
it was.
Spice. is around.
Is that the jingle?
More of a degreed.
But no, you're right. Yeah, I was just saying. I think it starts in middle school because like, you were so innocent in elementary school that life starts hitting you then.
But the question is, does it ever pull off?
I know.
Well,
you got
some people it does.
You got to
I
find
think
a way to manage it.
I think that
so.
as you
It's
get
about
older, you realize like a lot of it is there's a big personal development element to it, and I think that
sure.
with the ability to handle your personal development processes, and as you develop and evolve, I think that you then generate ways for you to deal with these stressful times on your own circumstances, and you're able to then manage what's on your schedule and how you interact with things. And as you acquire more experiences, the way that you deal with those experiences probably aren't as stressful.
Yeah.
The first time you deal with a problem, it's probably really stressful.
Until a
Fifth-
big one hits you that you weren't expecting.
Yeah.
But then, at what point do you see it all? And you're just like,
I
Just
don't know.
another day.
You gotta rely,
have you
though,
ever
on your
dealt
pillars.
with a big illness in your family, like that could that
Yeah.
right.
You
don't.
Yeah, it's definitely
not
stress.
everyone. Not everyone has that experience in their early 20s, 30s. Usually, like sickness can happen when your parents are getting older.
Hopefully they don't have to.
Exactly.
that's a
They
really
don't have to
tough
get
one
older.
to
I don't know why.
Oh,
I'm just kidding.
I meant people
I'm
don't
kidding,
have
I'm
to
kidding.
deal with that, man.
That's
tough.
Bearing a child, having a kid adds stress. Like this, you're not prepared for that.
No.
Your first one, at least, you're not because,
I'm prepared to take care of another life.
Yeah. Well,
I know.
process.
We'll get there.
And the adverse is also another thing if you haven't dealt with that before.
You should start with a puppy, Ryan.
yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, I don't.
We need to get you a dog.
I don't need this now.
Yeah.
Whole puppy
Let's
thing.
table that.
I'm feeling
I can
stressed
just
about it,
picture
dude.
you there, sitting there just with your little
They're
puppy.
dog's supposed to help you relieve stress.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's supposed
Yeah,
to be
man's
more
best friend, all
relaxed.
that-
What do they call them on these flights and stuff now? They're
Service dog?
Don't
no.
get the
They
service
bring, like-
dog.
No, they bring like
No?
a goose on the. It's what do they call those animals? Let me look it up.
Emotional relief.
Emotional
Emotional support.
Support animals. That's
Really?
that's the deal with stress and stuff. It's stressful to fly, the anxiety, and they kind of calm you down.
You're stressed to fly, right?
I mean, as I've gotten older, I've gotten more stressed and for whatever reason with flying. But
You getting more stressed?
Dude,
My
I don't-
dad
I don't
got
know
like
what
that.
It is.
I've gotten less stressed. I mean, I feel like it's like a norm. It's
It
like me
doesn't-
driving in the
yeah.
car at this point. I used to get like nervous, and then I was not nervous, but more stressed out about the process. Because
Yeah.
it's a process. For some people, it just is. It's a lot.
I
Going
get
through
stressed
security
driving in the car
and
with
then
Kenny. Have you guys
packing.
done that?
Traveling
Yeah.
can just be stressful in general.
But now we travel so
much. Yeah, we fly so much. So I really don't know why I get so
Well,
stressed.
funny
Get
enough,
TSA pre-check. That's what
yeah.
you're saying.
my dad he recently told me about how he now gets stressed on flights, which before he didn't
crazy.
care, but it's because he got older and now he realizes, listen, anything can happen.
Yeah.
this
That's true.
fucking plane goes down. I need to make sure my family's set up. Like that it was when he was going through the phase of I need to get a will and all
Yeah.
that stuff documented.
That can be
Right.
stressful,
So
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I
for
can
sure.
understand that, but at the same time, it's like
you can't go through life living like that, man.
no.
No.
I mean,
No.
that can be like driving in a car.
'Cause then-
that can be
yeah. It's
walking
very
across the
unhealthy.
street.
It is.
Like,
It can be.
That is very
Meanwhile,
unhealthy.
they were smokers. I mean, they're not anymore, but just battling.
Just the normal day to day,
There's so
week
many
to week can be stressful.
Yeah,
though.
people always resort to those vices, though, man.
Yeah.
Alcohol,
Yeah.
drugs.
It's been a tough week.
Sometimes they go to the good vices, which working out.
But I
Well, I
think that the biggest thing is to make sure that it's self-control and discipline.
Yeah,
It's like
absolutely.
a drink is it
Healthy
bad
mind.
for you? No, I mean there's science that proves, especially wine.
Was it
with-
red wine? I think.
Yeah, so there's definitely certain wines that have benefits to it. Isoflavonoids and certain things
Yeah.
in wine have proven to be beneficial.
Yeah.
But there's also
Speaking of standardized tests, that was an SAT word. What'd
Nah.
you say?
Good word.
Flavonoids?
isoflavonoids.
Yo,
What
Hey,
in
that-
the world?
that biology major's coming out, huh?
Oh yeah, if you're using it. Here we go.
Ty, we might need a definition on that later for
Definition check, please.
me. Like not for me. I have
If you can
no
spell
idea.
it.
Yeah.
ISOFLAVINO.
I still can't.
Welcome to the Spelling Bee podcast, where we try to spell difficult medical terms.
No, working out is a great one for sure.
Yeah, working out is a great.
Yeah,
probably
yeah, yeah.
the-
But not everyone is a workout person or just something to.
And working out doesn't have to be lifting weights.
Right,
Right.
right.
It could
Get
just
up and
be
walk.
Going for a walk.
walk.
Hiking. Mountain climbing. Hobbies essentially that are
Yeah.
outdoors. Anything like that.
It's
I think
sports.
breaking redundant patterns
Yep.
is important.
Breaking
Yes.
away.
which is very difficult.
Whatever
right?
that may be
Yeah.
for you.
Especially when you start creating bad habits.
Yeah.
Like
Art.
once the issue becomes a habit, it's hard to break.
Drawing.
What is it? 2 weeks to what's the habit?
I don't
the
know. There's
timeline?
there's a few different timelines, but
I've seen a lot of different statistics with that. I've seen, I think it's 60 days I've seen as of a repetitive task. There's the difference between a habit and a,
Come on, use your big words. Just habit.
Destructive activity.
no, not a destructive activity, but like habits are different than
Routines.
a routine.
Okay,
Exactly.
I can see that. Yeah.
So they're two different time lengths in how to adopt or how long it takes to adopt a routine compared to a habit.
Like a healthy routines. Like
yeah. And there's different circumstances around those, but yeah.
waking up at the same time every day, going to bed at the same time, so your REM cycles and those kinds of routines. Although it's just you try to do the same thing every day, it's different than a habit because a habit is,
Well, I'd be curious for you all, and I'll just open up the question. Like, what do you all do? Like, do you guys get a sense when you get stressed and like you try to?
Yes, cold sweats,
stress eating.
Okay. Because like I think for me personally, one thing I struggle
comfort
with.
food.
Yeah, comfort food.
Yeah.
One thing I personally struggle with is, like, yeah, I'm stressed, but I let it get to like a max level, and then that's where I try to start making changes and like, hey, address the elephant in the room in a way, right? Because we want to swallow our pride, just keep going.
I'd agree with that.
Do.
Do you know it's happening before it gets to the height?
I've gotten better as I've gotten older because I
Recognizing
think managing stress, especially nowadays in this day and age, like it's a more known thing. Like
For sure.
we take the more significant, appropriate measures to try to help others and address those issues because I think it's important. But I think as I've gotten older, yes, but still it's like took about 2 years to realize, hey, I think my hair might be a little bit about stress here. But I'd be curious, like, what do you guys do? Like, how do you?
I have two approaches.
Yeah.
During like the day to day, it is sarcasm.
Okay.
Like I find myself saying, something goes wrong, something breaks, good, great, perfect. Everything's fine. Let's just, all right, this happened. You can't change it. Figure out how to fix it. Like before, if you get all reactive and worked up about everything that goes wrong in the day to day,
Yeah.
there's no way like you'll be able to just like work and fix it because you're so involved and invested in the problem. You just have to kind of let that go, brush it off, laugh about it, I guess. That's how I do it. And then figure out, okay, now that that's happened, shit, let's move on. So that's like my intraday. And then just overall when it's, I kind of, similar to you, when it hits that peak, for me it is working out, just being able to get outside, get moving, just get my blood pumping and get my mind off of it. But it's tough, man.
Yeah, it is.
What my tactic is it's a mental ability. Like you just have to, essentially not care. Just say fuck it all. Like that's not necessarily it, but
right.
Just it's a different, like you rewire your brain to see like how what's going on and like how you can attack it in a different light, step away. Understanding that thing that's there is going to stay there. It's not going to resolve itself overnight. Like as much as you want it to be finished and fixed now, it's going to be there the next morning. One of the biggest quotes I got when I started working is just like, the work's going to be there in the morning.
Yes, dude. If
It's
no
going
one's
to be
dying
there
on the
tomorrow.
table.
Now, yeah, you got deadlines and stuff. You got to meet it. But like, I can't speak for every work environment, but a lot of these times, like, there's roadblocks that you have to face, and
For sure.
you can as long as you communicate what's happening on the project that you're working on.
Agreed.
Managers and stuff are usually sympathetic and they understand. Okay, we understand why you weren't able to make the thing, but let's make sure we keep working at it. Like, what are we doing to resolve the issue? It's all a mindset. It's a mentality. You have to like kind of rewire your brain instead of focusing in on the stress and freaking out and having anxiety. You kind of like say, okay, it's here. This is happening. Let's figure out how we can get out of it. What can we do to get this fixed?
I love the word you use, communicate. If you don't let people know what's going on, then they
That's
can't
big.
help you. You got to be able to be vulnerable.
Guys don't share.
You
Vulnerable.
got to talk about it because then you can game plan together to get to that resolution. But if
And
you
can
don't,
seek professional help too.
Yeah,
You need
100%.
therapy.
I'll tell you.
This is not frowned upon. I'm
Right.
sorry. I don't know why, but before it used to be. It's weird. I think it's flipped, and I'm glad that it flipped.
Yeah, I agree. You're right.
yeah.
I think the vulnerable.
I love that word. I've gotten that from you. It's been a big thing.
There's two
helpful.
things that have like stood out. Like as we've gotten older, it's like being vulnerable and like you guys are also warm. Like we could all talk, right? Being vulnerable and just being a little more empathetic about things, right? Like everyone's going through
Understanding.
something.
Being non-biased, making you sure you understand the other side of the problem,
I'd throw
which is
authentic
difficult
in
for
there, too.
people.
It is difficult.
Very difficult to see what's going on the other side.
I used to be the most like closed person. Like I don't want to share anything that's going on with me. I want to let it bubble. I'll handle it. And again, I think that has a lot to do with just being a male in some way.
It's a pride thing.
Nut up or shut up. Kind of just buckle down.
Yeah.
It's just part of your life. Like you got to get through it. Like that's been a big mentality in the society for a while.
Yeah.
I agree with James, though. I think that a lot of it is mentality. I think that typically I'm not dealing with one problem. I'm dealing with many problems at the same
That's
time.
usually how it goes.
My role is a little bit different. It's more literally specifically like lighting out fires. So
Yeah.
for that, I think it's for me when I get very stressed and when it's very overwhelming, I look at it as like a little bit different perspective. I buckle down and I say like it's game time, and I get actually more strategic. I get more.
When you face adversity,
Like I just feel like if I just relate
pressure
back to
makes
sports,
diamonds. Is that what you're
pressure
saying?
Grab the bull by the horns and
I
just
just
go.
I go back to like sports. Like if you're down by 7, there's 2 minutes on the clock.
Let's go.
You're on the 20-yard line. Like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna just give up?
No, you got
You're that close.
Yeah, you gotta
What are you
just
gonna
go.
do? You're gonna
Do you want the ball
man
in your
up
hands, or
and
are you gonna pass it off?
Yeah, I do.
like what are you gonna do? And I just feel like when there's a lot of stuff on the line, I get more regimented. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to spend more time doing this. I write a lot of things down.
Yes.
So when I write things down, it helps me brain dump. I'll brain dump everything, and then I'll prioritize it. So then I'll look at, okay, if there's 50 things that need to be done, out of those 50 things, what actually needs to get done within the next 2 hours? What actually needs to get done today? What needs to get done within the next week and within the next 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Typically, anything I'm thinking about is not 2
Yeah.
weeks out.
At face value, a task or a project can look very daunting, but once you break it out
Yeah.
into
Break it
actionable
down.
items,
Sometimes when I write it down,
CTAs.
chip it away at it.
sometimes when I write it down, I'm like, it's not that bad. Like I had it in my head, like all these things. I'm like, I just gotta do these 3 things.
Having
That's it.
prioritization as a skill, if you can master that, dude, and
Yeah.
just being able to redo those priorities every day, every hour.
I came
That
through
helps
a
a lot.
quote on priorities.
Okay. What do you
Life
got?
is the relentless reprioritization of tasks.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is 100% nail on the head. I think that if you have the ability to write things down, and even if you don't, just brain dump, like put it down, get a little. I have endless. I have probably enough notebooks for all of us to share. But I use like Evernote now, which is a nice.
Love OneNote.
There's nothing better though than actually physically writing on
Oh,
paper.
it's
I love writing things down.
yes,
old
it's cool.
manually.
Got
Yes.
to.
Yeah.
The technology stuff. It's great because you have it electronic now, but yeah,
Just
I mean,
Yeah.
I have it on my iPad. Now they make the iPad, you can literally draw on it and it literally writes exactly.
I usually write it out and then reorganize it by typing it.
Yeah.
But just the initial brain dump is on paper.
There's a lot of tools. And I think that one thing with how to manage stress is finding the tools that allow you one, look at the root of the problem.
Right.
Like when you're stressed, like what does it really come down to? Is it the the abundant amount of tasks that you have to do and complete? Or is it something that you can't control? And then look at what you can and can't control. And if you can control it, control it. But if you can't, you should not. You should try to do something, meditate, yoga, breathe, talk to someone. Because I think if you can't control it, the best thing to do is maybe vent a little bit or just get it out of your system. Because you're not going to be able
You
to
can't get hung up
actionably
on
do
what
something.
You can't
about it.
control.
Exactly.
Because you can't change it.
Exactly. So I think that's where you really have to analyze it. And if you just take 10, 15 minutes to analyze it, your whole day is just dramatically better.
I agree.
Now I'm a
Very well said.
segue though. We don't have all the answers. It sounds like we do. When it comes to sports, can't speak for you two. Can speak for us.
Yeah.
We have no freaking idea how to handle stress with sports. When my teams are losing, my wife hates me. I mean, I turn into a 5-year-old baby and throw a fit, and just like I have not. All these things we said, great tactics, have not applied any of them to when it's.
you've
my
made some
sports.
strides.
It's
Look, you started
tough.
off with standing
Yeah.
on the couch.
James. I stood on your couch a year ago for the Heat Game 7.
Yeah, well, you also 2 or 3 years ago now punched a hole in your
Okay,
door
that is true.
over a meaningless game.
Whoa! It was Game 3 of the playoffs. It was
meaningless.
1-1.
I'm just kidding. I mean, play
It
games,
happens.
obviously.
People know how, you know, it's, you know,
Sports are
sports are the
people
escape.
going.
And when it doesn't go your way, it's not an escape anymore, man.
Sports
Yeah.
are great.
They are.
They are great.
I honestly-
gotta-
It's passion. It's not.
It is passion.
Yeah, it's passion. You're passionate about it.
Yeah.
Passion drives excellence.
It does.
Right, John?
Goodness
It
gracious.
does.
I seriously think though that all of us have had a similar upbringing in the fact that we've all been in sports our whole lives.
Absolutely.
And I think that has helped so much because it is basically a constant pressure of stress, managing stress at a young age.
Battlefield adjustments.
Whether it's baseball, it's basketball, it's football. I mean, like
That team environment, though, and
winning
that's
and
what
losing
today is.
and the actual process of a game is
That's
stressful.
life.
Shannon
That's
Sharp said that
life.
life is it's winning and losing. It's
Yeah, it's
not-
winning and losing.
You, it's okay if you
You
lose.
wanna
You
fail.
learn.
Yeah,
Yes,
Yeah, hey,
you do
if-
want to
it's
fail.
it's not about
Fail
if you
in life often.
Yeah, and you got to fall forward.
Fall forward, exactly.
That's it.
We don't
Right.
fail, we learn. That's what I tell my team all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and
But
usually
it's okay.
You also got to win.
You also
Well, you have to have the mindset of
But
wanting
it's
to win.
the meaning in life is the journey.
Yes.
So it's all the failures. That's actually what really gives the dopamine relief is when you finally get that win.
Yeah.
When you break through.
Oh, nothing feels better.
Yeah.
Nothing
Listen,
can-
how are you getting better as well? Right? Like, what are you doing? What's that journey look like?
Oh,
to
yeah.
win?
I-
And some
I just got one of the biggest wins at work. It took me 6 years. 6
That's awesome,
years,
dude. And how
to
do you
get
feel
there.
about
it? Was
that?
fantastic.
There you go.
I had a stress-free first quarter. It was awesome. First quarter. in
welcome to
6 years.
Q2, baby. That's right. Congrats.
Yeah,
dude.
yeah, yeah.
That's
We're
awesome.
We're on the
man.
next project that's stressful.
There you go.
6 years. That's a long time.
6 years.
But all of it though, like whether you're in sales or you're in operations or management, anything that you do, there's going to be elements of stress.
Yes.
Everyone is dealing with it.
I feel like a lot of the things we've been talking about, though, is work.
So that's you got to have the
there's other
personal
triggers.
side.
There's a whole
There's
personal
other
side.
Other triggers like trigger stress for you. Now, I wonder what the statistic is and what the highest trigger is.
Well, I did
The
look
high-
that up.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
what
just
you
did
got?
look that up. So it's actually 60% on a poll that was conducted last year. Say it's due to money.
Yeah.
And
Which makes sense
Yeah.
because I think
67.
if you look at like divorce rates, a
Yeah.
lot of
Yeah.
that has to do with financial elements of it. and-
On that, though, it's all about, they say, picking your partner. If you find that partner,
Yes.
like you don't have to go through that divorce aspect, and you find someone that is your ride or die that's going to support you, that helps you
Absolutely.
cope with those situations so much differently.
I mean, right
Because
now we're going through this economic downturn.
100%.
You know,
There's
couples have to make tough decisions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and you know what? When you're able to communicate with that couple or that individual, that's
There
significant
it is
other,
again.
as a couple,
Communication.
you have to
vulnerability.
communicate.
Communication is different.
It is the key, though.
It's
If
not
you're able to
easy.
communicate with one another and with the significant other, like there's so much area of opportunity to probably alleviate stress.
But communicating with a managed discipline and understanding of how you're
Yeah.
Yes.
Not
Don't
like
communicate in
freaking
anger.
out.
Don't
Yeah.
No,
communicate
can't.
in anger.
No, it's like you
It's
gotta
kind of like
step
that work
back.
thing that we were just talking
You
about.
gotta
Right?
step away.
If you the work's going to be there the next day, step away when you're angry.
Yes.
Come back and have
sure.
that communication.
Would you
And
say
it'll be a
we're in
lot
an
better.
environment right now where we're lacking communication?
Absolutely.
So
becomes more
the
difficult.
skill that we're talking about, you need more and more. We're seeing less and less of it as you grow, as people come through the ranks. We got to
it's-
find a way.
yeah, it's just it's so easy right now in the life we're living in to go online to look at someone else and just feel like you're not doing well in life.
Yeah,
Because
but
you're
it's
always comparing yourself
Yeah.
to someone. This story on Instagram, this post on Facebook, like, and it's just it hurts in a way. Like I hate to see that.
Here's a different perspective. We're here to tell you you are doing well
Yeah.
in life. You know?
Yeah,
Like,
and
your
I think
journey's different.
it
Dude,
is.
no matter where you're at right now, it's like, what are you doing?
and
Yeah.
going. Sorry.
Move forward.
Well, I was just going to say people probably just seem to have too high expectations. Like they're looking at these social media posts like this life is so grandiose and like I wish I could have this life. Your life is great too. You just have to
yeah.
count your blessings and lower your expectations of yourself.
Well, I think it's just taking a step back, and a lot of the guys in the personal development space talk highly about this. It's stop measuring yourself against others.
Yeah.
But look at where you are today, where you want to be, and then just look for a 1%, achievement
better every day.
each day. Yeah.
Do you know how much you can accomplish in 10 years?
Oh my gosh, so much.
Was it keeping up with the Joneses? You don't need that.
Yeah, but there's just so many different circumstances, right? Like you you may think that someone's doing well, but you also don't fully acknowledge or understand or know, or you're not even aware of what problems they're facing. A picture online can literally mean a million things.
Good.
That's a great point because a lot of people just don't know what others are going through.
Yes.
And then they think everything's hunky dory,
And it's
and
not.
and they're trying to keep pushing the envelope with this person. They don't know
Jump
that
to an
they're
assumption.
creating even worse things for them. Like they're adding to their stress because they don't know what's going on in their lives.
If you're in that management position, which I know some of you guys are,
Yeah.
you can see that from a different perspective, which is really interesting to see. And it's allowed me to kind of step back and look at things a little bit differently, but be more sentimental towards people when they are going through someone, or when something, like someone can say something to someone and they could already be having a bad day, and it could break them down.
It could.
And in the moment, it looks like that person did it, but there's something at a deeper root that actually did that. So once you investigate it, you look into that, and it had nothing to do with what was said, and the appearance or the actual visual representation of what you saw had nothing to really do with it. So you really have to understand that people are going through things.
Yeah. Asking a simple question, how are you doing?
Yeah.
Or how can I help?
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Can go lengths.
Yeah.
Johnny, you send me texts every now and then. You say, hey, if you just need to talk, man, I'm always here for you.
Yeah.
You know,
I think Johnny's really good at that. He
he's
does that to
very
everybody.
good. He's
Yeah.
very he's observant.
He is.
Yeah.
I hate what I'm about to say, but in college, our coach said, I'm not going to treat you the same, but I'm going to treat you fair. And I never understood it. And I find myself
Yeah.
all the time saying that because, like you said, people need different things, whether it's to get them over to the hump, to get them going, to get them through that day, that moment in their life. You're going to need it differently than you. But at the end of the day, right, we're going to treat. It's going to be fair treatment, but it's in a different manner. And I hate it, but I understand it now.
One of my favorite Christmas songs. Put one foot in front
Of the other, da-da-da-da, and soon you'll. No, okay.
Welcome to Hot Takes, where we talk about debatable topics. And today we're going to be talking about if college is worth it.
All right, we got 5 minutes on the clock.
Some data shows from 2020 in October, among all recent high school graduates in the United States, the college enrollment rate for males was 59.3% and 66.2% for females.
Okay.
Is it worth it? That's the question.
Yeah, is it worth
Is
it?
it worth it?
We're not here right now without college, so 1,000% yes, worth it.
Yeah, but I think the worth it question really comes down to like where the value in it comes down to, right? You pay for the education to then no one's going into it to say I'm going to pay $50,000, $67,000, $70,000 a year for friends. You're going there because you want to then achieve the next level of whatever that is, which is most likely your career, and then essentially make more money or do something that you value in your life.
I just think that there's a big argument to be made around certifications. There's a value added there. You learn more of a niche, and that's what you end up doing in the workplace. Very rarely are you so broad. And yes, you go to college to try to figure out what you want to do with your life. So I guess a certification is knowing what you already want to do. But the plain and simple, like I don't get my job if I didn't do the certifications on Excel because it just it made me so valuable. I didn't learn that stuff in college.
But did you get that certification in college? Or
No, I got it outside college. I just stumbled upon it. I was like, you know what, I like Excel, and I'm gonna give it a shot. I feel like I want to be in a data type position, and I was shooting left and right. I ended up in an internal audit.
I think you need the maturity. We were all different people. The 4 years changed us all in different ways and helped us probably get quick jumps on our careers from, it might not be the actual degree, but the life experience we went through in college. You don't get that outside of college. You might be on a different path. So
Who's to say though you can't meet people out in the real world and have those same exact experiences? I mean, they always say you stop, you kind of like fade away from your high school friends, and could also do that to your college friends. We might just be the outlier.
or you could just stay with that same group. You could also stay in that group. If you don't go out to college, you stay kind of in your norms, local, or whatever you've been doing kind of with your high school routines.
which could be good or be
It could
bad,
be.
depending on where you're going
Right.
to high school and things like that, right? Depending on many factors. But I think it goes back to the main concept of Like, why is someone going to school or to college or university in the first place?
And so that they can get a job. They want to land a job. That's the key.
It was.
And make money. They want to make a
wanna
good
make
living.
money.
Well,
The American dream.
Yeah, the American dream.
That's what they're chasing after. And they think college, back in the day, college was like, if you didn't go to college, the competitiveness was so much harder out in the job market.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, obviously you need to get a bachelor's degree if you want to go for the next step, which is a master's. And then if you want to get your doctorate, you got to have a master's. It's
Yeah.
kind of like a stepped approach, right? But at this point, like that bachelor's degree, so many people get it, but I guess based off a statistic that Johnny just pointed out, it doesn't seem like too many people get it. There's a lot of people, you're hearing a lot of these stories where people don't go to college at all and they are successful.
Well, I think it's different now, right? I think, like you mentioned, when you were growing up, your parents pushed you, hey, go to college, like guaranteed to get a job, make some type of money. Now listen, I think if you're trying to become a doctor, absolutely, you got to go to
100%.
college. Trying to be a lawyer, got to go to
100%.
college.
I agree.
Nowadays, like put yourself current state. When we have kids, is our automatic instinct to say, hey, go to college. You can learn so many things off of YouTube
Thank you.
for free.
Thank you.
100%.
There's so much free stuff out there.
Yeah, there's so many more means to expand your knowledge on any subject matter.
I just saw this thing on, it was like Dave Ramsey. He was, how he has a show.
Yeah.
He got a caller in, and they had, it was a couple, and they had, what was it?
300.
It was $780,000 in debt.
It was $800,000.
college?
300 and change was from college.
College, yeah.
Yeah.
300,000 plus from college.
Yeah.
Yeah, but between two people. And they had higher education, but either way, 300,000.
It's a lot.
Their annual income, combined household income, was like 230 or something like that. And they're 800 grand.
Yeah, what's the recoupment cost? That's what it boils down to. And you're getting dragged by the coals in student loans with these interest rates. I mean, these things, 15-year loans, probably at a minimum for most people. And some people go way farther out with that stuff. And private versus federal. I mean, yes, there's federal funding and stuff. And the argument of the value that college brings is the price tag really worth it?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think if it was cheaper, less people would consider this topic, because I think that then it would be worth it. Right? You're paying $20,000 or $15,000.
Yeah.
Listen, I have no regrets going to college.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thankful, as Ryan mentioned, like we're sitting in this room because we all met in college. However, there's a different way to look at college for sure. And I think you just got to evaluate, what exactly that is. When you talk about student loans, like you were in high school, did you know about interest rates and what it's going to actually cost at the end game?
Not at all.
Not at all. Right? They don't teach you that stuff in high school, that's for sure.
They should.
Teach you.
They should. They should
you how to
teach high school a lot.
quadratic
different than
formula.
they do right now.
And who's to say trade schools don't come back? too?
Exactly.
Trade
I mean,
schools
I
are starting to
Trade
get some.
schools coming back.
I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
they're going to pick up a lot more.
They're getting a lot of
demand
traction.
is there. They need
Electricians, telecommunications,
Mhm.
plumbing. I mean, shoot.
Just
There's
paid
plumbers out there.
$4,000 to fix plumbing.
There you go.
I mean,
Was it a 1099 contractor?
I don't know, but bless them. They were freaking awesome.
Yeah.
You need it.
All of it, though, HVAC, all these.
Yeah,
100%.
And there's such a demand for it. I mean, it's not like we stopped building houses, or the houses that are getting older, apartment complexes, all of these things. They need electricians, they need plumbers, they need HVAC people, and it's going to continue to have the demand there. And it's not going to go away.
Technology, like people in technology.
Yeah.
Where did you learn it? Most of your information, was it in college or was it through learning how to code on your own?
It was not in college. Absolutely not.
Yeah,
However,
maybe you were a computer science major, but that probably didn't get you to the big tech companies from a degree. It could have.
Well, you can even go look at look at some of the biggest tech entrepreneurs out there. A lot of them they drop out.
Yeah.
A lot of them are not fully committed, have a fully committed education. They leave education. They were at a good school.
Yeah,
Like, even
Harvard.
Look at Zuckerberg.
Zuckerberg, yeah.
Yeah.
They were at massive colleges, amazing institutions, but they bounced.
I don't think the worth it part comes into the education person. I think it comes into you need that social interaction. And that's why to go back to the question about your kids, I probably would tell my kids, take a hard look at it, and we'd support that, because I think that's necessary for personal and professional growth, is to have those interactions and to go through those ebbs and flows that you learn through college. And that's just not in the classroom. That's the whole experience.
A lot of people learn how to operate themselves just from their day-to-day, their life, how they grew up, from their parents,
Yeah.
from the hardships that they had to face in life. Like things like that can mold you. It doesn't necessarily have to come from college. College is a vehicle for that, for sure. I don't disagree with you on your point, but is it enough value added? And you have to make the most of your college too. If you're not willing, like, what does college mean to you? And it just seems like in today's environment that college, it's more like a social environment where you go to find yourself, figure out what you want to do with your life. It's cliche now, but before it used to be, this is the only place I can go to get education, to expand my knowledge, because they didn't have the resources that are available today.
Yeah.
Right. I agree.
And now with these resources, I think an argument can be made whether or not college is actually valuable.
Talk about a kid 18 years from now. What is college going to be like then?
I don't know.
I mean, and then
How expensive is it going
Yeah.
to be then,
Yeah.
too?
Are they still
But then
teaching
you-
quadratic
yeah.
formula in high school?
I don't know, but you also got to look like, think about when the disruption when COVID hit. Everyone went virtual. Like, think how many classes are done virtually now anyway. I mean, you took some virtual classes in
I
college.
did. Thank bless up. University.
Every certification I take at work now is virtual.
Yeah.
Everything's virtual.
Indiana University of Pennsylvania. We appreciate you.
I took one certification that was in a classroom setting. Granted, it was great because it felt like 5 days off of work. But I mean, I learned a lot because I was hyper focused on this. And instructor, I can ask questions and stuff. But you can do the same thing virtually now.
Yeah.
We just have the resources.
But I think the
You're not-
pricing correlation doesn't. I mean, I would think that it comes in with demand. If people just do not go to school or do not go to university, do not go to college, they can't charge the same. It's all a demand plate. It continued to increase because, yes, standard of living increased and probably the cost of
Yep.
running these universities increased. But it also was because people are willing to pay it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not like people are stop paying $60,000, $70,000 a year schools. They're still doing it. But if they do stop, then what happens?
Well, let's let the people know. Kenny, did your degree get you to where you are today?
I did not. I studied solely science, biology, and I don't do anything regarding biology today. So, I had an undergraduate degree with a focus on pre-med. And today, 100% of it is marketing approach. So, no, I don't use anything biological.
I would say I don't know if my degree did, but definitely my fraternity background, which is funny to say.
Social
Football
aspect,
background,
here we
social
go. There we
aspect,
go.
all of that
For the
was
people.
Key things I was able to smash my interview with.
Everybody's bro.
Everybody's bro.
That's it.
Yeah, so I think we've come to a conclusion with today's topic. Is college/university worth it? I think our approach here is, it is worth it in some values.
Yeah.
Depends what worth it means to you.
Yeah.
I
agree.
think so.
Depends on what you want to get out of college. If you want to just get out of college, party and find some friends and have a good time, find yourself, all those things, sure, college is great.
You can't say that because you still got to stay in college. You can't be Van Wilder there for 8 years. You know what I'm saying?
True.
Yeah.
Okay, you got a point.
All right.
You got a point on that.
You
But
do got to do some work.
yeah, I mean, there's education piece. Yeah, sure, you do learn stuff. Professionals,
Yeah.
like professions that you're trying to achieve, like we mentioned, lawyer, doctor, that kind of stuff. Very important. Very important.
The networking piece.
Networking's good too. Yeah, for sure.
But I wish someone said that more directly.
yes.
So if you network and network correctly, this is a place that's going to be very valuable.
It's not about what you know, it's about who you know. I feel like that's out there.
Yeah, for
It's
sure.
out there, but no one ever said like that. Don't just take that as a motto. Like actually lean into that and live by it, because I mean, yeah, we knew
A lot of people brush it off. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you got to do your due diligence, get after it, right? Like, yeah, hey, networking, blah, blah, blah. But if you're sitting in the corner not going to do anything with it, like,
Yeah.
it's just going to be another number.
Now the bender continues,
The
baby.
bender continues.
definitely. So today's topic is going to end with a maybe. We don't really have a direct answer on it, but we would love to know your answer. So to you, is college worth it? Put it in the comments. We'd love to hear your thoughts, and we'll reflect back on this in a couple of weeks to see what everyone's thinking. No, I think that the one thing that comes to mind is that when you're working with people, emotional intelligence is something that's really
Emotional damage.
emotional intelligence is never is
You. It's not you.
is never like spoken about.
Yeah.
But
It's not, man.
it's such a huge element to
Communicate.
communication, just like people to people interaction. And like there's so many amazing psychology books
Yep.
and different in-depth books on these topics. And I've been spending a lot of time in that because I think it's really interesting and it helps me cope with understanding why I feel away or how I feel away.
Yeah.
Can help me interact with people more intelligently, and understanding how interaction works
Yeah.
could be potentially a big
Emotional IQ. That's a very good point.
That's one thing I
interesting.
wish I would have done in college is take some kind of psychology course because I find so much value in it now.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it's amazing.
My boss he's probably one of the most influential leaders when it comes to just having the emotional intelligence.
It's a powerful skill.
It's super powerful. And for that, like, I admire him for it.
Yeah. Well, it's also nice because you get that. Your boss, I think you said the name boss.
Yeah.
He's not a boss. to you.
Yeah, I should.
You use
that's
the
the
word
term.
He's a
mentor
mentor.
lot.
Yeah, you say
Yeah,
mentor.
and a lot of people don't get lucky in the workforce to have a mentor.
Yeah.
To have someone that can guide you and help you develop.
Yeah.
And personal growth.
That's a perfect
professional growth. Like that's huge.
Does
That
everyone-
helps you deal with stress.
Yeah.
Does everyone here have a mentor?
Yeah.
Yes. It's
Yes.
very important. to have
yes.
Very important to have
I
one,
have
have
a couple of
multiples.
mentors at my company now. It's fantastic.
So
I agree.
on the topic of mentors, I think it's important to have multiple, but in different areas where you feel like they excel, or let's just call it as it is, bring the most value.
yeah.
You know? And I hate to use the word value because it sounds kind of salesy.
I mean, I have
But-
I view you guys as mentors
sure.
in my life in some aspects.
I'd
and
say
areas.
all of our friends are mentors to us in different ways. We can learn.
Yeah.
We all learn from each other, just from either taking a step back, going through something with someone. I mean, it's just
Sometimes-
impactful.
Being
Sometimes
there
you
for
got
each
to
other.
put, you also, like, one thing I love about our group is it might not be the prettiest thing to say, but, like, we'll be able to, like, you know, point each other in the middle of the eyes and at least have a real conversation
And communicate.
and communicate about it, right?
And you find out that afterwards, once it's said and
It's-
you guys have talked about it, that stress is now just lifted
Yeah.
right
Well,
off of your shoulders.
Yeah.
I feel like you have to
It's very.
have someone in your life that that was a beautiful motion.
a little bit in?
I think that you have to have someone in your life that you are able to speak with without having an emotional element involved.
Yes.
Because if you guys say like,
And no
"Hey,
judgment."
I'm gonna check you on this, and you check me on it, and I'm not like really upset about it because Ryan's being mean to me or something like that. But I take it at face value, and I'm like, okay, like,
Yeah.
I understand that. That makes sense. I should change that because that, or I should do something about that because
Yeah.
that is impactful.
Yeah.
But that's important, and having that it's so hard. I mean, that's the reason that like a lot of people, I mean, going back to certain topics like financials and stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of people make financial decisions based off of emotions. Self-managed portfolios and things
Yeah.
of that nature. So
What's that saying? Tell me who your friends are. I'll tell you who you are. You got to surround yourself with the people who are going to be real with you, who are going to like let you know when you're on the right path, but also when you're not going down the right path and help steer you back. Because if you just put people in your circle that are telling you you're doing great all the time, we see that with different celebrities, different famous people. You're awesome. You're amazing because they're maybe getting a kickback or getting a piece of the pie. They're not being maybe the greatest friend in that moment because they're not helping you be your best self. And I think, like you said, our friend group, us here, those that are not here too, family members, we do a pretty good job of having those tough conversations. I know I've had my fair share. So
the key thing, though, to speak on that is, and the reason why I think it works so well with each other is because we're all on the same page. And the one thing that my mentor told me that has stuck with me so much over the last, I don't know, 8 years or so is you cannot give what you do not have. And that is physical, right? That is like monetarily, that is emotionally, that is physically, that's everything. So when I look at that and I'm like, okay, well, like if you're looking at from a partner to partner perspective, if I cannot give love, I cannot give understanding, if I cannot give discipline, then how can I expect it?
Yep.
So it's really interesting when you look at it at an emotional level.
I want to add just on a different point of that too is people think that they try to control the uncontrollable, and you can only control what you can control. And if you focus on those items, it helps you deal with the stress for sure.
Definitely.
But yeah, no, I agree with you, Kenny. It was well put.
Yeah, very simple phrase, but I think it has such a deep meaning. And I like at first when he said it, I was like, okay, yeah, like, can I give it?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, makes sense. But deep meaning.
Sometimes though, it's just really hard to get out of that funk.
It is.
That's the hardest.
you might be able to say like, okay, I'm in a funk. Like you can address it.
can
Like, you just
recognize
said,
it.
You said earlier you get to the peak and then you're like, okay, now I gotta
Do something about it.
And I feel like you could probably speak on this. Not every single time is the same thing that works for you.
Yeah.
Right. And it could be unique to the situation. It could be unique to whatever that stressful trigger point was.
Yeah.
But you know,
What do you do?
What do I do? I feel like I take a lot of the things that we've suggested in here already. I take a step back. Working out comes back to it. I try to get into a routine. And then I break down things. I'm starting to do the writing things down bit. That's been helpful.
Yeah.
I've learned through work that being organized and basically using like a project management software, like to keep yourself on track, that's huge. And that's kind of what those notebooks can do for you. Having a vision board and those kind of things keep you on track for like, what are your goals? Like, why are you doing this? Take a step back. Like, what got me here in the first place? Like, why am I not having fun anymore? Maybe I need a change. Yeah. But change can also cause stress too. Some people don't like to embrace change.
100%.
But if you embrace it, it can really help you out. Yeah. But essentially, I think it's a multitude of things. It really just depends, and it's unique to each situation as well. So
I think you hit on the first step in fixing a problem is, recognizing that you have one.
Which is
Then
Exactly.
different tactics to try to fix it. But you got to be able to say, hey, this is not going well.
and reach out if you need help.
For sure.
I need your help.
Yeah. Guys, I'm going through this. I need your help. I was facing a big challenge. Like where I was trying to make a tough decision, and I went to you guys and was like, hey, this is what I'm dealing with.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
Mm-hmm.
Send me your feedback.
Yeah.
I need feedback right now.
Something I also heard, I can't remember the person's name, but something that I also heard was that discipline overcomes motivation.
Yes.
So, which is really interesting to me because if someone is motivated, that's going to bring them a certain length.
Yeah.
But motivation can fade when hurdles arise. But discipline
Ice bath.
is doing it when you know that like I'm going to do this and I don't care what happens, I'm going to do it.
Dude, I know exactly what you're talking about, and it almost hurt my feelings in a way.
I think
I'm the most motivated, and then you're like, dude, if you actually think
Discipline's
about it,
huge,
discipline is what really matters. Because David Goggins.
I think was it Goggins or was it Jocko?
David Goggins.
Was it Goggins or was it Jocko?
It was one of those two. It was a
I
Navy
think
SEAL.
both have a point.
Goggins for
Both of
sure.
them, you know, they
They're
have
both
very,
crazy.
they're very,
They're studs.
they're amazing people, but that mentality
Yes.
Is just
David Goggins addresses that in his book. And
Reading's a good
reading's
thing.
a great dude.
yeah.
Knowledge.
reading is fundamental.
One thing I do love, and I know a few of you try to do it, but like Andy Frisella, the CEO of First Form, one thing I don't know if he came up with this, but I remember like reading something from him, and it was the Power Five.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do that.
I've done that
I do
from
that.
the moment, and like you were talking about writing things, every single day since I heard that, I do it.
Yeah.
And as shitty as that day is, if you do cross out those 5 things you wanted to get accomplished for the day, it does make you feel that much better.
You shared that with us New Year's of 2022, and I've used it for the last year and a half.
Yeah, it was.
I agree. Being able to write it out, and even if you can't finish it, then you reprioritize it to the next day, the next week, based on that value that you see from that situation or that task.
I just like writing things down.
I like writing things down. I actually have created a Google sheet that has all of these different things on it, basically my Power 5.
Yeah.
And it has certain measurable elements to it as well. So because what you do not measure, you cannot grow, right?
Yeah.
So how can you analyze that?
Yeah.
So I look at those things that I'm trying to achieve and I put them on a measurable kind of scale, and then I write it down daily. And then I look at my goals and I'm like, okay, these are the goals I'm trying to achieve. These are the measurable elements of that. These are my Power 5. Basically, the Power 5 is the things that you need to do to get done in order to help you achieve those goals.
Yeah.
And every single day, I call it my daily routine, and then I broke it down to a weekly routine.
Riley Martin's been talking a lot about this, journaling.
Yeah.
Journaling has been a huge help in his life, and I think it's helped change how he handles stuff and has grown because of it. I've taken bits and pieces. I haven't really listened to all the things he's had to say about it, but it's similar to what you guys are saying. I think there's different methods, different way to call it, but yeah, it's a helpful tactic.
There's a lot of resources out there.
There is.
There are.
Yeah.
A lot of great guys and girls that have some powerful tools that can help everyone. At the end of the day, we're all human beings.
Yeah.
There are.
And are biologically the same, right? We all have these characteristics where we all think and have doubt. We all think
We're all going through
positive
these
Flaws are
Yeah.
what make us unique.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all of these resources, it does not matter. There's no discrimination in any of these. We're all humans, and these resources help us all equally. But you have to find the right resources for you, because there's so much out there that you have to find the right ones.
I agree.
And the right ones.
There's definitely like there's been a lot of light shed on like mental issues,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Depression, anxiety, those things are real, and people have to deal with that stuff.
They do.
Yeah.
You know, we're talking about things that we how we manage these things, but sometimes professional help is needed too.
Absolutely.
And if medication helps as well, like that hey, whatever you to get you on the right path, it's good. It's, again, life is a journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're gonna have ups and downs. Listen, enjoy the wins with your people, and embrace the issues and work together to resolve them. It's not just you. Don't always put it on yourself too.
I agree.
The human race, I believe, is we thrive with others. Collaboration, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Dude, it's awesome seeing other people win too.
Oh,
is.
heck yeah. Ryan, you just got a
love-
promotion. Awesome.
Yeah. Love being a cheerleader.
Awesome.
I have
Awesome.
literally grown to love that so much. Like,
Yeah.
I find myself, even on like, Patty and I watch like Wheel of Fortune, and I'm like, I want this guy to win $1 million bucks. Yeah. I'm like, I haven't seen this shit in a long time. Like, people win money. I'm like, hell yeah.
Dude, it's
Like, it's just
People
awesome.
having
Goes
good
back-
fortune is it's awesome.
just simply caring is
yeah.
like that's one thing that I think is strength is really valued is
Yeah.
knowing like a person cares. You can really read between the lines when people care.
It's a way of thinking,
Definitely.
right? Because to come back to that, right? Positivity, thinking about
Positivity,
positive. Don't think about negative, because you can spin that in the opposite direction. Like you're competitive, jealousy.
Yeah.
right?
Oh.
Those things. A lot of people, they get hung up on the news and what's happening out there in the world. I mean,
Yeah.
there's good things. I was so happy when John Krasinski came out with his good news segment.
I remember
that. It was amazing. It made people feel good during a huge low point for everyone. Emotionally, physically, we were all down. Everyone was down as a world for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
A world. We were all united in that feeling. And he came out with this stuff, and it was like, yeah, that's what we should be focusing on, is the good stuff. Positivity.
Yeah.
But I think
talked
it's
about it with the things you can control and you can't. You can control your energy. You can
Yeah.
control your positivity that you bring to
What-
every interaction.
Yeah.
You might not be
The Austin
feeling-
Marks.
Good vibes only. You might not be feeling your best self, but even in those situations, fake it till you make it, because that energy is contagious. Just like negativity is contagious, positive energy is contagious. If you bring laughter, if you bring that, you might catch on. And then now we're all feeling whatever was maybe bringing us down. You're not thinking about that anymore.
Yeah.
happiness is a choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes, in order to be happy, you do have to step away from things that are making you unhappy.
Yeah.
And that could be the people around you, who you surround yourself
big
with.
decision.
You can. It's a great saying. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink.
Yeah.
If you want to be there and try to help this person out, like they're dragging you down with them. At some point, you gotta just.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
It's also, I think, that finding someone that is that has experienced certain things that maybe you are going through and knows what it looks like on each side of the equation, I think is a good thing to find, because experience, I think, brings a very valuable perspective to things.
Yeah. You can gain experience too.
Yeah.
Johnny, a new phrase of his that I've been using and keeping in the back of my head is seek understanding.
Yeah.
Seek to understand. Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, it's big. If you have a problem with someone that's adding stress to your life, right? You just, what's going on? Like, what, I want to understand your side.
Yeah.
Put yourself in their shoes.
Yeah, exactly.
There's always a
What-
root.
Exactly, and it might actually not be I think we mentioned this earlier. Like you were talking about, like when you experience like your employees and you're seeing like what they're going through. It wasn't the moment that you had with them. It was actually something else that's going on in their life that's triggered them. They're having a bad day, and that could have happened. you know.
Yeah.
But if you seek to understand,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it can really help you.
Without knowing that quote, I think I live that more now than ever because early on, when you're dealing with more people on a daily basis, you realize like there's just like it's not always you.
Yeah.
Or it's not always something that you say, or it's not always someone in the office that said something. There's so much underlying things. So
Yeah.
yeah, there's
Seek
a
to
lot.
understand.
Seek to understand. It's a good one.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
The one thing that we didn't bring up that I would like to also bring up is placing yourself or being aware. And I think you brought this up, Brian, but being aware of what type of information you are acquiring, what type of information you're placing in front of yourself. I don't watch the news.
Did you hone in on his truth? Is that what made you think of that?
No. What made me think of it is something that Ryan said like 20 minutes ago.
Oh, okay.
But
Like I remember that.
yeah, I don't remember.
I'm trying to
It's
think
something
about it
like-
right now, but I don't remember the phrase.
I don't remember exactly. How
It works.
But-
It works. It
but,
connects.
like I don't watch the news specifically because
Neither do I.
Yeah, I don't have.
I don't want to
have a TV
acquire
subscription.
Negative.
I don't
It
want
is
to
negative,
acquire,
man.
or I don't want to surround myself with anything that can potentially harm my optimism, my outlook, my perspective. It may be true or it may be not, but also a lot of it's someone else's perspective on
Yeah.
it. So you have to think of what is someone else's perspective and what's a fact, and how you surround yourself or what you surround yourself with is most likely what's going to cultivate the way that you think and the way that you start to embody certain characteristics and how you live by. So I don't know. For me, that's something that
I love that. I agree.
Awesome. Well, I think that we really covered a lot on
Yeah,
stress, talked a lot about different elements of it. There's so many resources out there. I think that we have different ways, all of us have different ways of dealing with stress. I think that we all have different ways of analyzing stress. And there's resources from so many different people out there.
Yeah.
So I think that if you have a different perspective or a different take on stress and how you deal with it, we would love to hear because we're always looking into different ways to add options to how we deal with things and to try different things because there's so many options. Finding something and sticking with it is important, but something new can also enhance our processes as well. So if you have anything to add, feel free to throw a comment in and tell us about it. And we look forward to speaking with you again soon. Until then, the Bender continues.
Continues, baby.
ABC.